The Bible study for today is from the book of Joshua, chapter 6, verse 22 to 25. But to the two men who had spied on the land, Joshua said, "Go into the prostitute's house and bring out from there the woman and all who belong to her, as you swore to her." So the young men who had been spies went in and brought out Rahab and her father and mother and brothers and all who belonged to her. And they brought all her relatives and put them outside the camp of Israel. And they burned the city with fire and everything in it, only the silver and gold and the vessels of bronze and of iron they put it into the treasury of the house of the Lord. But Rahab the prostitute and her father, household, and all who belonged to her, Joshua saved alive, and she has lived in Israel to this day, because she hid the messengers whom Joshua sent to spy out Jericho. An unlikely ancestor of Jesus. The story of Rahab serves as a glimmer of hope in the midst of the destruction of the pagan nations who inhabited the land God had promised to give his children. News of God's might and power had long ago reached the nations. Though they continued to harden their hearts in unbelief, as a result, God's judgment was poured out on the people for their sin. At this point in redemptive history, that judgment was enacted primarily through God's people, the nation of Israel, who were told to destroy these pagan nations. Rahab proved to be an exception. Although a pagan and a prostitute, this woman had protected the Hebrew spies as they entered the land, and as a result was given the promise of protection. Now the people were finally laying claim to the land. The spies remained true to their promise and allowed Rahab and all of her family to escape the destruction that fell on the city. Rahab stands in a long line of unlikely recipients of God's mercy. Matthew, in his gospel account, begins with lengthy genealogy, which was meant to demonstrate